Dear human being, beloved soul, I welcome you to my podcast series, Conversations with the Universe. After a near-death experience, my perception of our human existence changed profoundly. I became more sensitive, with all our known senses. I feel more intensely, see people with different eyes, and often take a different perspective on life and our challenges. In my books, I share these altered perspectives and all the knowledge that has flowed through me since my near death and thus record it. For all those who are searching for something more, for the meaning of our existence here on Mother Earth. And it is now a great pleasure for me to share this knowledge with you in this way as a supplement to my books. This season I am dedicating myself to my very first work, the basics of being. I wish you many wonderful insights on your path. Thank you. Love.
First, a quick note about my network, SPINE. This is short for the Spiritual Network and is the first global social media network for holistic knowledge, awareness, spirituality, and above all, a bridge between providers and seekers. I invite you to join us and connect with me there. Feel free to look around, find lots of podcasts, events, healers, but above all, lots of inspiration to grow. It's free. But now let's start with today's episode. Many people who cross my path tell me that they hope someone will make the necessary decision for them. But the most important truth about being human is only you can decide. The most dangerous of all dead ends in life begins when you give up responsibility for everything that affects your life from your field of consciousness and from your power. Because what happens when you start hoping that somehow everything will work out or a solution will find itself? At that moment, you hand over responsibility to other factors, cosmic laws that are eternally at work and govern the continuation of life. But you also hand over responsibility to other people who are not afraid to make decisions for you and over your head. Whenever a person acts in this way, it is the beginning of misery. Because human beings are not here to be a plaything of fate or a plaything of other people. The day you decide to no longer use your free will, you once again give up a large part of your true potential. Making decisions has something to do with consciousness and, as a result, with the will to live that consciousness. Imagine that every decision you make is a building block with which you build your house of life, with which you shape your destiny. People who are unaware of this gift and at the same time of this responsibility toward themselves sit by and wait for it to happen on its own. But the time will come when someone else will build their house in their place. Making decisions means acting. Even the decision not to act actively in certain situations is a decision, and that ultimately makes this course of action an action nonetheless. But when a person begins to relinquish control over their decisions, they relinquish control over their life. When does this happen? Usually when people are afraid of the necessary decisions and their consequences. And then it is important to ask further questions and reflect, why am I powerless? What happened? What did I allow to happen that made me so powerless? Where did I make such a wrong decision that I lost so much power? What scares me? Why am I afraid? How did it come to this, that I am afraid to make this decision in a way that will shape the goal that I want? What happened there? When and where did someone take away my self-worth to such an extent that I am afraid to make decisions? We could go on asking these questions ad infinitum. The only important question that always arises behind the last answer is, where was the decision that brought me to this place, to these people, and into this situation? And then you will soon end up in your childhood. In other words, at the foundation of the cosmos, where you experience powerlessness. You cannot make decisions there because powerlessness ruled there. And if, for whatever reason, someone else tries to take this tool away from you, don't let them. No one in this world, no one in your life has the right to take that decision away from you. And if you think someone else can make a much better decision for you, then you are on the wrong path, at the end of which may lie a life that has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with who you really are and what you want to be here. Be aware that every single decision in your life, no matter how small, helps determine your destiny. Normally, the time of powerlessness ends with childhood. And that is exactly when your chance to finally make your own decisions begins. And that is also where the journey to finding yourself begins. Every situation that makes you feel like you can't or don't know what to do is created solely by yourself. And others who think they can't make a decision because they are afraid are lying to themselves. Because something inside them knows the solution, but something else inside them allows itself to be distracted from this heartfelt truth and thus led astray. And once you are on the wrong path and no longer listen to your heart's truth, the illusion has already begun. Then the connection has lost its power. The only way to find it again is through love. Love for yourself. But more on that later. I wish that every person in their life would hold this tool firmly in their hand. I could now give hundreds of examples of people who repeatedly seek an explanation for why they couldn't decide the way they actually wanted to. But my only answer to all these excuses is something or someone else has long since decided for these people. But you are not powerless in your life. You only make yourself powerless when you give away responsibility. And because that is, and always will be the case, everything you are, have, or do now is always the sum of all your previous decisions. So let's summarize. The goal should be spiritual fulfillment, because happiness resides in this fulfillment. The path is life, which calls you to grow. Your gift is free will, and its tools are the decisions you make. Every decision is the beginning of a new form that you create. The more consciously you decide, the more fulfilled you will be in these forms. Then you will experience true spiritual abundance. Love. You have now experienced many times how everything is connected to everything else. Separation is an illusion that humans have created and can exist within. So much so that they completely forget that they are actually beings that only exist partially on this level of perception and are eternally connected to everything, whether they want to be or not. Only humans who are unaware of these connections are capable of creating war, murder, torture, and oppression. And these are all creations of the ego. The animal in us brings forth this ego. The supposed love of the ego is calculating and not real love, but a claim to power and possession. This is not the love that makes us the creative beings we are. Love is being aware of the connection with everything. Perceiving these connections means above all becoming aware of them. If you embark on the path of this awareness, it means first and foremost expanding your consciousness and thereby changing your perception. The muscle of consciousness begins to move, allowing you to see things from completely different points of view, from which you can observe the events around you from a whole new perspective. And a different perspective allows you to recognize and understand the wholeness of the cosmos more and more. This deep insight allows you to experience the wonder and beauty of being. You see the world with different eyes, with a wider, more open, more devoted, and less expectant heart. And that makes you an increasingly loving being. You suddenly become much more aware of these connections. And the more consciously you perceive your life and the environment, the more clearly you will recognize them, the more you will love them. So the more consciously a person perceives themselves and the connections, the more they will love what they perceive. Parents who love their child above all else are aware of the miracle they have created. People who love each other are aware of the uniqueness and beauty of their encounter. Truly recognizing what is happening will make you love what you experience. Truly recognizing who you encounter will make you act lovingly and respectfully toward that person. Truly recognizing why things are the way they are will make you feel awe and gratitude for how precious the moment is. People who enthusiastically perceive the beauty of nature are aware of it and love it. People who accept the diversity of life with gratitude, and want to fill it with happiness, are fully aware of the opportunities that life offers them and love them. In contrast, people who cause suffering to others are completely unaware of their connection to those they hurt. People who wage war are unaware that they are actually waging war against themselves, and that the law of resonance will return the same suffering to them at a different time and in different circumstances. People who treat each other disrespectfully are not in love. People who lie are not in love. They are not aware of what exactly they are doing. But existence in the gross material world is a call to humans to remember. For it is the negation of the ego, of the animal within, that clouds their vision and makes them identical with matter, with the gross material world, with the form of expression of being that is furthest removed from the source. Every base emotion and every base action in this world arises from the absence of love, that is, the absence of awareness of the connection with everything. A feeling of indifference robs these people of the devotion and strength to consciously perceive the connection and experience love through it. There is only love or no love. If you do something half-heartedly, you do it unconnected. To love someone only a little means not to have really perceived them. And people who think they cannot really love are actually afraid of opening their hearts. Every person can love, just as every person can and should shape their life more consciously. Every person can also decide to be courageous and open and thereby feel more love. There is no such thing as half-hearted love. To love means to decide to open yourself up so that you perceive the connection with everything that is. But if a person is afraid to open up, they close their door and create a separation. And this separation is the opposite of the connection that makes it possible to love. It's a vicious circle that began with a simple decision. Yes, I will open myself up and experience the whole of being. Or no, I will protect myself and close myself off from everything so that nothing bad can happen to me. This puts me in a state of separation. But this is an illusion, because you came here to earth to immerse yourself in feelings, the beautiful and the ugly, the high and the low. Life is more than what we think it should be. It is the experience of the whole. And this gives us the opportunity to experience ourselves completely, with all the energy worlds, the energies, the connections, and the resistances. Planet Heart gives us the best platform in the entire cosmos to experience all of this with the energy of the heart. So love is the memory of the connection with the source. But if you decide not to perceive this connection, then you are living past the actual meaning of life. Then you are one of those people who go to school but keep their eyes, ears, and noses closed so as not to learn anything. It is through the heart that we can recognize the connections again. It is our gateway through which we experience giving and taking, sending and receiving, and therefore it is also our heart that ultimately reconnects us. Once you are aware of the connections and clearly recognize the beauty in everything, you will become aware of the communication of energies between them. When everything is connected to everything else, it also communicates with each other. An impulse at any point in the universe will eventually arrive on Earth and resonate here. This is how it is throughout the cosmos, in the spiritual as well as in the gross material world. Everything is in constant exchange with everything else through these connections. So if you become aware of the connections, you will also perceive this communication more strongly. Connection means communication. And to communicate means to give and to pass on. Because a loving heart wants to give even more beauty to the beauty it recognizes and to preserve it. Therefore, be aware that there is no place and no moment in the history of all time in which a human being was not connected to everything that is and ever will be. To love is not an art, it is a decision of consciousness. A decision to be open leads to the realization that separation does not really exist. The more open your heart is, the more alert you are to perceiving connections. And the more connections you perceive, the more beauty and abundance you will experience in your life. And the more beauty you perceive, the more you love what you see, recognize, and experience. A beautiful cycle of being becomes visible, but it has always been there. Your life will change because you perceive the beauty of being, and this new awareness will make you less judgmental, less expectant, less impatient, less sad, and less searching. Then you will have found within yourself all the answers you have ever sought and will ever seek. They lie in the connection between your soul and your mother's soul on another level. If you remember this connection, you can strengthen it and thus use the gateway with all its possibilities to create beauty here in the material world. Love is consciousness. Conscious being means to love. It is a simple decision that you can make with your free will. Do you want to go through life consciously or let yourself drift unconsciously? The more energy you put into becoming conscious of your life, the more love you will experience. Consciousness is diverse and flexible. Consciousness shapes your perception and thus also your perception of your connection with everything. A whole sea of diversity of connection, and thus an infinite diversity of love is waiting to be discovered by you. The sea of life offers you endless possibilities to finally truly perceive all that has always been there. Life is the playground where you can unfold, grow, and blossom. Use it as such. There is not just one form of love. Let's summarize. Being aware of yourself means loving yourself. Being aware of the beauty and possibilities of life means loving life. To be truly aware of the miracle of connectedness with everything means to be a living, grateful being. To be truly aware of the magic of encounters between people means to love these encounters and to recognize and seize the opportunities they offer. Thank you again for listening, and I look forward to connecting with you on my social media for healing. Spine. And I would like to remind you to join our community Spine. We are a community that wants to help you live a healthier life, practice your spirituality, and expand your consciousness. We help you find and connect with healers around the world, and we help you give your life a new meaning in different ways. We are Spine, connections that help.